Some years ago, there was a book that talked about parenting. If I recall well, the title was Tiger Mom by Amy Chua. Amy Chua was, I think she's an academic in one of the Ivy League institutions. And man, she was talking about her own style of raising her kids. And she said she is very, very rigorous about the way that she's raising her children. And her style was completely different from what you would describe as a traditional American approach. She grew up in Asia, in Philippines. I think she married to a guy who is Jewish, and that book raised a lot of dust. Everybody was talking about it. And in the last couple of months, I'm running into people who are struggling in raising their children. And I'm also like, okay, dad, what kind of dad am I? I'm asking myself, am I doing the right job? Do I even know what to do? So I thought, instead of just struggling in the shadows, let me invite some amazing, amazing, highly respected parents whom I have admired and adored the way they're raising their children. I have Dr. Frank Amakona from Nevada, who is a professor. I have Dr. Evina Hoff, based in Dallas, Texas, and I have Mr. Earl DePass in upstate New York, but currently in Chicago, and he's a software engineer. But guess what? Even the best of us, the brightest of us, some days things just don't work right. We could not get his face to be on, but you guys are missing a great deal. He is, I mean, he's equivalent of Mona Lisa for men. But okay, that's a separate conversation altogether. That's a separate
Another day.
conversation. That's for another
Another day.
conversation. I feel very privileged, honestly, that you all accepted to come into this little virtual world called the Story Warrior channel, where I want us to tell stories about our struggles, our breakthroughs, our trials and tribulations, especially with respect to how you're raising your children. You're all busy people. How do you succeed to raise such amazing children? And I want us to start first by maybe asking Madame Evina Hoff. She doesn't like to be called doctor. Please tell us how you're raising your girls, and maybe also introduce yourself a little bit, because I don't think I could do justice to that.
Hi there, Gideon. I'm very honored to be here, and really a pleasure is mine. And I have two girls, 9 and 2.5. Well, she's almost 3. She will turn 3 in less than a month. Um, and I have to say, raising them, it is not textbook. It is something that we have to do trial and error and fail a lot and find a way to actually what works for the both kids. And each kid is different. So what works for the first kid may not work for the second kid. And being a mother, I think it's challenging, and a working mother too. Our schedule is very tight. Sleep is not as much, and keeping a healthy body and healthy mind. Usually I will set aside a time for that, because when I'm healthy, I can also parent better. That's my yeah.
When mama is happy, she can also share some of that happy love with the kiddos, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes, yes.
And I know you've lived in many, many places. We'll come to that very soon. But I want to go to Dr. Amakona in Reno, Nevada. Introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what's your style. Are you by the book? Because you're a professor, so maybe you go by the book, strictly by the book, or strictly by the Bible. I don't know. Frank, can you get us? Looks like Frank is frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Did you
Hello?
get my question? Yeah, hello.
No, actually, it's the line. Maybe my internet is not stable because we were breaking up, and
Okay,
the page kept refreshing, so I couldn't hear anything that
I
you
see.
said.
I
I
see.
mean, last. So
So,
if you could repeat
so
that.
yeah, so I was saying, um, I think our first panelist, Madam Evina Hoff, said, we do some trial and error. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed. But she also
Sure.
said she as a mom, when she's happy, she also gives some of that love to the kids. So she's trying to strike a very good balance. So I was asking,
Yeah.
you're a professor, do you go parenting strictly by the book? And I know you're a man of God. Do you go strictly by God's book? Or what's your style overall? What's your philosophy of parenting?
That's a good question. I think maybe my wife will be there to tell me if I'm a good parent or not, which I have never been. Um, and I'm coming from two backgrounds as a raised as a African parent by African parents, and identify what worked and what didn't work, and
Mm,
try to pick the positive part of it and make
mm,
sure I replicate the bad thing that my parents, I think, in my point of view,
mm,
think that they did. I've raised, and I'm still raising two girls. The older one is going 23. The other is going 20. The older
mm.
one, when we came to the States, she turned 2 years in the plane.
Wow.
And then the second one was born here. And so we have lived in this environment for this December will be 22 years I've been in the States.
Mm,
And I wouldn't say it was easy with a cultural shock coming right. I came a year after my wife and my older daughter joined me. So, and starting all over again with a different environment, a cultural shock, a whole lot of things. Trying to understand. Of course, a year is not enough to know all about America,
mhm,
let
mhm,
alone raising kids with
Mm-hmm.
all the social media and all that.
mhm.
So, I would say for us, if our kids have become good kids, it's I'm a man of faith. It's by prayer. We started praying for our kids way before they were born.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Immediately we knew we were going to marry, we started praying for their upbringing. We
Mhm,
praying for their profession. We
mhm,
pray for good IQs,
mhm. Mm.
be
No kidding.
intelligent, and we
Yeah.
pray for the fear of God.
Wow.
And then we married 2 years. So we started praying for them 2 years, and we have never stopped,
Stop
even up
praying.
to today. Still praying for even their marriage. We prayed
Mhm.
for their marriage before we even came together as married
Mm.
couples, and we have never stopped praying for them. In
Wow.
addition to that, um, I have learned to know, by the way, a little background you might not know about me. I was Sunday school teacher.
Mm.
Sunday school teacher in the church, meaning I work with kids.
Kids. Yeah.
I work with kids from all ages, from toddlers up to youth level. And
Mm.
raised in the church, I've worked with the youth. I've worked with students. I've worked with toddlers. And I've also trained people to become Sunday school teachers.
Mm.
And I have that credential to do that. And so as I'm doing this, I've learned to know maybe which age that I should give commands to my
Mhm,
students, my kids,
mhm,
or at which age I should dialogue with them,
mhm.
okay, or at which age I should let them be on their own.
Mm.
For example, in my bringing this has been my 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 plan.
Mhm,
Up to age 5, I can command them do this, do that,
mhm,
okay,
mhm.
but I still explain to them why I have to do that, even when they are
Mm.
toddlers.
Yes.
If they need some discipline, I
Mhm.
have to explain to them why you are being disciplined. And
Yes.
then not just telling them, but let them, repeat it back to you.
Yeah.
That's where you know they understand. That doesn't
Mm.
mean you do it one time, it's going to work. No, they will still be repeating the same thing, but when they repeat it many times, they will start to understand. And then don't think that it is not working.
Mm, okay, I
So
see the line is lagging there a little bit, a little bit. So,
yeah,
uh, Frank, please hold on to that
yes,
conversation a little bit. Let me go to Mr.
I
El DePaz, who is currently in Chicago. And I know he also has raised some amazing, amazing young ladies. Turns out today the theme was all young ladies. If you did not recognize that by now, now
Yeah.
you know it's all the papas and the mamas of girls. And I also
now
relate.
I
I have
know.
the same thing.
I was
I
was it
have the
was
same two girls.
intentional.
So
No, all the girl dads.
conceptually, it wasn't meant to be like that, but it happened. There was supposed to be another gentleman who was supposed to join us, but something came in the way, and here we are. But I definitely want to hear from Mr. Eldepass. First, introduce yourself. I know you've raised some amazing, young, successful women. Tell us your philosophy of raising them, and how did you? Is it easy? Has it been easy for you? Because we can definitely take some notes from you. Earl, are
Did
you
we?
there?
I think we lost him. Gideon.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, maybe he's back.
Should be back.
Can
Earl,
you
are you
hear
there?
me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Did you hear the question?
Okay, can you share my screen and you can see my, you can't see me, but hopefully you can see my girls.
Yes, we can see your girls. I'm sure the rest of the panelists can
Oh,
see your girls. Papa of
all
girls.
right. So I think I'm the elder here during the discussion in that I've got three girls that have graduated
It
from
says
college.
recording error.
On your
I've
end,
got three. Can you hear me?
go ahead. Yes, go ahead. I don't
Yes.
see any recording order from this side. Yeah.
So I think I'm the senior of everyone here, and that all of my girls, well, three have graduated college and are gainfully employed. My youngest is a junior in college, and I raised them in Brooklyn. Um, I'm in a kind of a multicultural marriage. I'm American. My wife is from Cameroon, from West Africa, same place Gideon's from, and that
Family.
had lots of benefits. It also had some challenges and conflict when you have two people from different cultures, different ideas. But I think in general, it really having the two cultures gave some balance
Mm,
to my children's upbringing.
mhm,
Um, they were very blessed too to be in a to attend a Montessori school,
mhm.
which was very progressive, and it really fostered a love for learning in my girls at a very young age.
Wow.
And my wife, being a strong Christian, uh, also brought a lot of value to my life and my girls' life. And it's a blessing to have had four of them because I can attest that four children, same mother, same father, but it's amazing how different they are. You know,
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that only have one or two children, and they're like, they want that child to be everything. And I say, I've got four, and they're all different. You know, so having four children brings a very different style in terms of I can't micromanage. I couldn't be a micromanager even if I wanted to. If you have four of them, you just can't.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
You,
You know,
you have no say.
yeah, you have absolutely no say. And also, the older ones help to raise, co-parent with you, and
You,
help to raise the younger ones. You
that's
know,
Wow.
good.
so yeah, very very interesting. And it's not over. I'm still, even though they're
Yeah.
gainfully employed, they come back. I just want to warn you. They come back home, but
Good.
at least they when they did return home, they contribute. Actually, my second oldest,
Yeah.
she's actually
Very
having
good.
managing and paying for my home in Brooklyn. I have two homes. The home that she's staying in to be pointed and repainted. It's quite an expense, and she's managing that project, and I'm very proud
Wow.
of her. So if they, as long as they come back home and contribute, I'm happy to have them back.
That's good. That's good.
Full disclosure here, Earl is my family, so folks don't be jealous. Nobody should be jealous. If anything, I revere him, especially the way he has raised my nieces, and they're all like so well brought up. They are nailing top jobs. I don't want to even throw any names here because it's gonna get people a little bit jealous. But you've done a phenomenal job. But tell me,
Thank you.
when they were growing up, what was your approach to discipline? Now that we want to talk about this, and I want to go back to Evina and then go back to Frank. How
Well,
was
well, discipline was so it was more discipline. There was very occasionally. Let's get to the basics of it.
Mhm.
Very rarely did we institute any corporal punishment.
Mhm.
That was extremely rare. Um, but on occasion, that was necessary. But in terms of discipline, it was usually verbal
Mhm.
discipline. It was usually if they had certain privileges, whether
Mhm.
it was, I don't know, going out to the movies, watching a TV show, going out to parties with their friends. I would, if they didn't, let's say, do their homework on time or take care of
Mhm.
one of their household responsibilities, I would usually deny them,
Mhm.
some privileges.
Mm.
But I can tell you also in terms of discipline, having four, they would always cover for one another, you know. So I try to, who did this? Who did that? I usually get an answer. So sometimes I'm like, everybody's punished. That's it.
That's it.
But
Because of one person, everybody gets to have.
when you have four, you don't have a time to be a detective.
Thank you. That is
I
hilarious.
love it. I love it.
That is hilarious. Okay, well, okay, Brother Frank, you grew up in Africa like me. I know
Yeah.
Madame Evina grew up in Asia. So tell us from the African perspective, what is your approach to discipline? I know it may be different, it may be interesting, it may be even more insightful.
Yeah.
And you grew up in Ghana.
Like
I grew up in Cameroon. Very
I grew
similar,
up
but
in
not
Ghana.
similar.
Yeah, we yeah. In Africa or in Ghana, corporal punishment. I mean, spare the rod, spoil the child. And if you get in trouble, your dad will give it to you. Usually your mom. But when your dad comes in, the big thing.
Mhm.
Um, I did the same with my kids. Okay. But like I said earlier on, I let them know. And mommy would do it. And if I come in, then it's a big thing. And then we also take time out and
Mhm.
um my kids never got their phones until when they get to middle school.
Wow.
I
That's
made sure
about age of 13.
they don't have phones. And then when they got
Mhm.
phones, then we could take about, yeah, maybe sometime. This the older one, I think she got hers about when she was going to sixth grade or fifth grade. So
Mhm.
that's when they had their phone. And so that when they got it, then of course when they did something to do homework, we can take the phone away and so something like that. So for me, it has been both. Yeah,
Mm.
it's has been both. And then they, in some situations, they've come to, especially my younger one, she was saying, Daddy, I think I deserve that.
Uh-oh.
I deserve that spanking because that Oh, she still remember, yeah. And if she doesn't deserve, she will tell you that as well.
Oh,
That
that's
that
interesting.
was
That
not
means she
right,
has a very good sense
but
of
in some situation she was,
Mhm.
yeah.
wow. That's amazing.
Hmm.
And
And so,
look,
yeah, it's
look at what you got. I mean,
yeah. So
I definitely applaud you for all that you've done, not just for them, but also in the community. Uh, I I still I have some other questions to come back to you, but I want to hear from Evina
yeah,
because you
it's
also cross-cultural, multicultural, both by way of
mhm,
upbringing and marriage and all that good stuff.
Yes, that is true, Gideon. Well, I was brought up in Jakarta, Indonesia, and in a pretty strict Chinese family. So the book Tiger Mom really resonated with me. That's how I grew up. And there was not a
yeah.
lot of that. It's very disciplined. At 3 o'clock, you have to practice your piano for an hour. At 4:30, your teacher will come, and then you have your language lesson. Then you have your gymnastic. It is going.
Mhm.
And in terms of grades, it was very strict. In terms of I have to get between 95 to 100%, or there will be a sit down,
Oh
or
my God.
so that's how I grew up. However, my husband
Mm,
grew up in the state of Indiana. Completely different way of growing up. He grew up running around in the fields and having a good time and playing basketball. So now that we have children,
mhm,
he thinks I'm too strict, and I think he's too lax. But we can, and we have two cultures,
mhm,
and I really resonate with what Earl said. That we have two cultures, and it was not easy. We have to work through that, and we tried with Annika. Annika is my firstborn, and she was the only child for 6 years. And we tried the strict way. We tried almost no rules, discipline, and talking about trial and errors. And we realized that this too strict did not work for her. She will sit there in tears, and she did not
mhm,
Mm.
play any
Yes.
piano. And of course, her being 9 years old, her problem is still pretty small, and we're still learning from how to actually help parent her. Um, and we realized that with her, she is more like she likes the middle. So if we give her a reward or we give her encouragement, then she really likes it. And then she gets really into it. And she said, okay, I want to do better because my mom said I made a good effort. We used
Oh,
to, you made a good effort.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So she thrived in that situation, and even with the activities that
mhm,
she's in now, um, she's in golf and swimming, and there were some tears going into swim practice. Swim practice is hard. Golf practice
mhm,
is hard, but we put her in the best possible environment that gives her the discipline, but also very encouraging. So we
Mhm.
picked the places for her to thrive,
Mhm.
and we don't expect her to be an Olympic athlete, but we do want her to carry that discipline with her and when she gets older so she can work through hard things.
That is amazing because
mhm,
we've been fortunate to know you, and I've observed the way you raise both the first one and the second one. And sometimes we've traveled together
Yeah.
as family, and I'm really taking lessons from you. I've taken lessons from Brother Frank. I'm taking lessons uh, from Brother Earl, and each one of you brings something special to me and Pam. You know, we're late bloomers. We basically barely started a while ago, so we still have a long way to go. But what I'm hearing here is
mhm,
elements of what Malcolm Gladwell cited from other sources called concerted cultivation, which is the parents are always around and giving the best support possible to their kids to thrive.
Mhm.
So I want to ask back to Evina.
Mhm.
I know I've seen you take her to practice, whether
Mhm.
it's soccer, whether it's golf. Is this done deliberately, or is it
mhm.
because you want to have a little bit of time to yourself and let somebody else also interfere, or give some some bit of insight and knowledge and other skills?
Mhm.
For sure, for sure. I think it's a little bit of both, actually. And so we look at all her activities, and we see values in all of them. I mean, obviously, going to school in a good school district for us is important. And because there she has the community of friends and the friends' parents and our neighbors, and they all watch out for each other. And for us, it's very important because it takes a village to raise children. Right now, where we live, I feel very blessed and fortunate that I have of different moms that I can call. Hey, Annika is said this at school. What do you think that how do you think I should approach this? Yeah. And I have moms who are from they vary from education counselors, and they've had grown children like Dr. Frank and Earl. And they are able to give me input. So I really think that I really respect you, Gideon, for taking inputs from other parents. I think it is definitely us as parents, we need that. Yes. But in terms of all her different activities, we do also vary her activities. Golf is a hard sport. It's a lot of struggle, and it's a sport where you have to know to come back from your failure, because one bad shot can yes. Wow. And this is funny because in almost every game or every tournament she's on, her first 2 holes she will cry with pouty face because she hit the worst shots, and she will sit there just feeling defeated. And I was like, all right, so what do you have to do? You can do this. You can come back from failures, and you can come back from this. Just hit better shot next time. Try your best. And she was able to pick herself up and then do that. Swimming is hard. And I'm sure as a runner, Gideon, the hardest part is to get started, especially in the cold, rainy day, and you don't feel like moving. And her swim practice is on Saturday at 7 a.m. And it's hard. And even Jerry said he's about to cry because he has to get up and take her to the pool.
The parents about to cry. How much more of the daughter? Okay, how much more the child? Yeah, that I can understand. I can relate to, because sometimes you just want to sleep in a little bit.
Too early.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But you have to get out there and also.
Exactly. And then when she's in the pool, she can't stop halfway. She has to keep going. She has to go to the other side. So I think for us, it was more like enjoying and just finish your job, get to the end. And now she's in coding class that we want her to know the logic. And so we're trying to do, and soccer is hard too. You have to play under the Texas heat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting, because you may think, okay, those lessons, maybe early morning, is a chore, but they do add up, because there's once I was a firefighter. I can swim very hard. I can swim quick, but I went to compete with Annika, and she beat me so quick. I'm like, I was a lifesaver. I cannot even catch up with you. It was humbling. So I think it is the repetition and over that has given her that kind of, that kind of pace. So let's go to Earl. I know you've done it for quite a while. You're almost done with it, but not completely. What were some of the activities that you got your girls into to keep them busy, and also maybe to give them some new skills, because skills, you never know when they'll need them later on in life? What are some of the activities?
So I would say, so it was interesting. Okay, remember there are 4, so there's a lot of logistics involved, right? So when you got 4, like things like travel sports, you really just can't do, because if you've got 4 kids on 4 different teams, it's just not logistically. You just can't do it. So, but in terms of programs that all of my girls did consistently. When we lived in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Botanical Garden had a children's farm where they would actually plant and grow crops, and it was wonderful. And my kids were in the program for so long that the administrators of the program, they would always let us hang out at the end and take our own farm produce. Because they'd always have more farm produce than they could, than the kids could take. So that was consistent. Also, music education. I always said that I was semi-literate, meaning that I couldn't read music, as a kid. But all of my kids could read and write music, and they all were proficient in instruments. And all of my children, mostly string instruments, but also piano. So all of my children attended music class. Uh, we did do sports, but so the school that they went to, though, it wasn't as competitive. It was more intramural sport. It wasn't so. It was fun for them. Um, and of course, we took advantage of a lot of the wonderful institutions in the city. So they would take art classes at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Brooklyn Museum of Art. We really took advantage of the institutions, the cultural institutions in New York.
Yeah.
But again, because of the school that they went to, we also set a time for a lot of free play. Sometimes, I mean, I look at these kids today. Their program is too regimented. Sometimes kids need free play.
Yes.
And so I think it was pretty well balanced. Particularly, I look at my friends and neighbors with younger children, and their poor children don't get a break. It's like boom. Okay, next activity, boom, 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 boom. And I mean, listen, I don't judge, but I do question how healthy that is. I think you need to give kids, in order kids to get independence, you need to let kids make their own rules, create their own games.
Yeah.
It's very important socially.
Yeah.
And my kids were blessed to have a significant amount of time of free play.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I see that in the Scandinavian countries, they do allow for free play, because I studied education, and they do earmark some time for that. But I'm curious, what does Dr. Amakona think about that? Did you make time for the girls to have some free play, or what kind of activities did you enroll them into? Especially because you also have the perspective of a recent immigrant looking at it with fresh eyes, with different, maybe sometimes you have some skepticism about things. I'm curious, what did you enroll the girls into, especially when they were growing beyond the age of 9 and 10? That's when I lost touch with them.
Oh, okay. I I don't know where to start, but it wasn't easy to have them do sports initially, because you came here, we have no car to move around, and can't ask people to go anywhere. But my older one, she took her piano lessons and went to a lot of recitals, and she loved it. She doesn't play it anymore. Once in a while, she takes it, but it is still there. My younger one didn't like to play piano at all. I tried, it didn't work. So the sports, it kind of comes sports actually. It's went to middle school, and then when I wasn't around, I was working in the eco, and my wife would let them go to Boys and Girls Club after school, and then that's when they learn basketball and some other things. So when they go to high school, both of them played basketball. Lawn tennis, but played the tennis. So, and that the older one, this basketball has helped her to do what she's doing today. She's want to go into sports medicine, so she took that to that path. Yeah. So I was a soccer player back home, but didn't have the time here, and plus I didn't want to get hurt because if I got hurt, I got injured, I
You
might
can
not
take care of
have
them.
money to pay insurance and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't take that risk. My wife told me, if you come here and you broke your leg, you're gonna be in trouble. So that scared me, and I stopped playing football, soccer here, and
Oh
I've
my
never
God.
gone back to play it again. So my girls, piano and lessons, and like Elle said, I let them choose what they wanted to. I didn't want to force them. Especially my second one, I wanted, because the first one did the piano. I wanted her to also do piano because it will definitely help with the math aspect.
Yeah.
At least they learn how
Oh.
to do the half
And you
notes,
and you
quarter
teach
notes,
math.
and those who fractions.
You teach
I teach
math,
math,
so
so
that
some
works out. The apple doesn't
yeah,
fall
so
far from
it's
the
yeah,
tree.
that's right. It is something that I wanted them to get exposed to, but the younger one, even though she likes to play with the hands, so she started sewing.
Mm.
She started sewing. I remember her birthday, 10 years old, she asked for a sewing machine,
What?
and
That is
we
incredible.
gave it to her, and she set it up and started sewing. She sewed a pillow, small pillow, two of them, and took it to school. And a
Wow.
friend said, and a friend said she needed one. He said, okay, this one I'll give you for free, but next time you pay.
That one has some
She's entrepreneur.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, entrepreneur.
Okay.
She's right there. So in terms of sports and then their hobbies and like that, she just picked the sewing as a hobby, and she still knit and everything. She
Mm.
feels, yeah, that's what she loves. The second one, yeah. So if in terms of sports and everything like that, I couldn't get time to, frankly speaking, even though I'm frank,
No pun intended.
yeah, to take them to different sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
okay.
so
But certainly they were busy with other things, and I want to just give a blast of my vuvuzela here because this is a symbol of this
oh yes.
show that the concept, and Evina brought this up. It takes a village to raise a child. Just because you're the dad or the mom doesn't mean you give them everything that they need to succeed. I bet you did not teach her how
That's
to
right.
sew because I don't know if you sew. I don't know Madame sews. So maybe somebody else had to teach them or basketball and all of that. But here now is a question: how much impact do you have on their choices that they make in terms of what they want to study? You're a mathematician, a math professor. Did you try to insist or corner them to study math? Or what did you do in terms of their choices? I would like you to reflect on that. And
No,
Evinan as well as so you don't mess with their choices. If they say I want to
not at
study
all.
sports medicine, go for it. If I want to study psychiatry, go for it. They want to study astrology, go for it.
That's- Okay. Um, I'm good that you asked that question because right on, I never want to impose in terms of what they want to study at all.
Mm,
I wanted to give them
mm,
the freedom.
amazing.
And I have conversations. I'm there to guide them, but never
Yeah.
to impose because
Oh,
being an educator, I've learned to know that doesn't help.
okay.
So my older one wanted her to at least pick after math, right? She
Mm-hmm.
did very well in math, took high school calculus, even went to calc 2, but now she hates math.
Oh, oh.
Okay? She doesn't like math at all. If you give it to her as a food, she will spit it out.
Oh my,
Okay?
that's getting
My
very,
younger one,
very, very spicy now.
that's right. That's right. My older one, so when we were playing, so I was sometimes we're going to do sports, basketball. She did a JV
Mhm.
at high school, and she played a JV at high school, and she said, "Okay, what do we want to do? We had those conversations, and she just told me, I want to go to sports medicine.
Wow.
Okay. Of course, some of us with faith, with backed by prayer, it's like God will guide them what they want to do.
Yeah.
And so she says, want to go to sports medicine. And
Medicine. Yeah.
she's doing kinesiology now and going to
Mm.
sports medicine. So and she loves it. She
Oh.
loves it. My
Yeah.
second one, even though I wasn't around to give her a background in math, right?
Yeah.
And so she struggled a little bit. It was then
Okay.
in new phone or Skype.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
that's when
I
you were
wasn't
you were
around
you
to
were
give
you were
her
teaching far away. I
background
think
in
in New
math.
Mexico. Okay.
However, I was in New Mexico, teaching
Yeah.
outside of the West to here, yes.
Yeah.
But when a little time I came, and when I came to Great Basin College, which is 2 hours
Hmm.
drive from
Line is lagging a little bit.
right,
Yeah.
she was in my internet is, I think, is not very stable. I was
Okay.
saying that the
But I
little
need
time I gave
we're
her
getting you.
in the
Yeah.
background in math,
Wow.
yeah, when she got to high school, volunteered to tutor in math.
Hmm.
Okay. And then I asked her what she wants to do with it. And she's hands on. She wants to
Yes.
build things. She wants to draw. They were both good artists. Something that I forgot.
Mm.
They
Hmm.
only both of them pick art. They
I
can
see.
draw very well. And they
Wow.
even went to competitions and won first and third positions.
No kidding.
Okay.
Which
My
is
older
like very
one
far away
in
from
middle
math. Yeah.
school won,
Yeah.
I think, the second in art.
Wow. Wow.
All right.
The diametrical, like far opposite of you as mathematician.
Second
Okay.
one also did the same thing. So for the second one with the hands-on, and I asked her, "What do you want to do?" So I guided her again, not to say, "Okay, go to this engineering, go to that." She says, "You want to be an architect," and I said, "That is perfect because you want to build something, you want to draw things,
Hmm.
and her goal is to, I mean, draw a plan for a school. I mean, how
Mm.
that could be things that they will need being a student and those things. So
Hmm.
now she's doing engineering and want to further
Mm.
it with architecture,
Okay.
program later on.
I
She's doing
see
civil
some.
engineering now. So when it comes to their choice of profession, for
Yeah.
me, I just guided them. I didn't force on them. I
Mm.
just have a dialogue with them and say that
Hmm.
this is what I think, and this is what I think it will help you.
Yes.
And
Okay.
they say, okay, that's a good thing. And that way, it becomes their choice, right?
Yep.
And they
They take
feel
ownership.
independent. When it doesn't work,
Mhm.
they at least they don't come and blame me because I forced them to do
That's true because if you choose it,
it.
you own it.
Already,
If I
like,
choose for you,
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. That's right.
okay. Very interesting.
That's right. And like L, being the only male in the house, they call me poor daddy because I
Poor
don't have a
daddy.
say. L, you remember? I
Poor daddy.
mean, I think you are.
Poor
Yeah,
daddy.
poor daddy because poor because I don't have a say. I
You're
don't
alone.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
yes, yeah. But they come sometimes the girls come around to support me. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I can only imagine with the L with the four girls and then plus there were five girls in the house. Being the only
But
one, maybe you are more poor than me, I guess.
I don't I don't know about other African men, but I have always wanted to have girls, nothing but girls. I'm not joking because I was
Oh,
raised
I
by a
see.
single mother around girls,
Hmm.
and it was a happy,
Okay.
happy, happy, happy home. Probably I was the only
Hmm.
one that brought a little bit of trouble. So I've always prayed, Lord, if I'm having a baby, make it a girl, make it be a girl because
A
somehow
girlfriend.
I'm just wired
Hmm.
that way. I love it. I cannot even explain it. Pam was hoping that we have a boy. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Cannot. And I don't have anything against boys, but I'm glad that God
That
has
wanna
been
go.
granting my wish. But I'm curious to
God,
check
God
with
desire.
with Nee Earl. Earl knows a lot about Africa, a lot about Africa, so much. Now, so even though you grew up in America and your wife comes in from Africa, you two cultures together. My question then is, America is the land of the free, home of the brave. So you got to choose where you're going to go. So did you help them with their choices, or you say, guys, here's the land of the free, home of the
uh,
brave. Go and be brave.
as Frank said, right? I've learned that if you dare try to choose something, they will resist. They will just resist. So the
Hmm.
best a parent can
Yeah.
do is foster a love for learning in their child and curiosity,
Mm,
and then let them loose.
mm,
Just expose them to things
mhm,
and let them loose.
mm.
Because you just listen. The fact of the matter is, we as parents like to think we're in control, but their friends,
Yeah.
media has just as much influence on their
Hmm.
lives as we
Absolutely.
do.
More even
Yeah.
more.
You know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you think you can control their destiny, you're gonna be, you're really gonna get your feelings hurt. Because that's just not the way it works.
Yeah.
There's so many other influences. So all I recommend is just foster a love for learning and
Mhm.
curiosity in your kids,
Mm.
and they will find their things that they're interested in.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, my oldest, she works for a renewable energy company.
Hmm.
My second oldest works for one of the largest equity management companies in New York, and actually, she manages the largest rental community in Manhattan.
Mm.
My third,
Hmm.
she is a computer. She's an engineer for a military contractor. If you would have told me that this would have been their profession as a
Hmm.
child, I said no way. you know, I, you know, I would have said no. I would have said no way. So I really think that we are we'll delude ourselves if we think we can
Mm.
if we can
Hmm.
pick our plan our kids' future.
Yeah.
You can support them, you can
That's
Yeah.
right.
you can nurture
Hmm.
them, but
Hmm.
Mm.
that's it.
Wow. Okay, there's still so many hot button issues, but I have to respect your time. And maybe from the way I see this going, I am getting a lot of juicy, very good content that I know the viewers of the Story Warrior channel, whether they're in Asia, they're in the Middle East, they're in Africa, they're in America, they will definitely enjoy this. And so I think I want to just ask one or two more, and then we'll leave the rest for another time, because clearly, if we deprive the world of such insights, then we're being selfish. But I want to go to a one hot button issue: vaccinations. I know Evina is a pharmacist by training, and maybe I want to start with you. When it comes to vaccinations, what is your influence, or what kind of advice do you have for your kids? Are you for vaccinations? Do you allow them to be vaccinated, or you're not for it? I know America can be confusing. There's so many voices around. But what is your take, not only you but also on the kids?
Um, I should preface it by saying that I respect all the decision that the parents make for in terms of immunization and vaccination for the children. But I myself is a firm believer in immunization. And the biggest reason is because we have seen diseases that has been eradicated,
Mm-hmm.
um, or at least we have the herd immunity to fight the disease. So an example is the COVID. I think when it first came out, there was a lot of people want to get vaccinated, but there were also a lot of people who didn't
Mm-hmm.
believe in it. And then smallpox was eradicated, and then there was one case that came back. I personally think it's not just for my children to be protected from here, or even if it's just partially protected, because we can't predict exactly which strain is going to be prominent in this coming season, even with the influenza, the COVID, anything. But at least the best that I can do is to give the children the best tool for their body
Yes.
to fight the infection.
Yes.
And by doing so, I'm hoping that then they will also protect the other community, because they are exposed not to just other children. And they go to school, they go to daycares, and they may share germs. Of course, they share germs with other kids and children, and they bring it home.
It takes a village. It takes a village to
Yes,
raise a child.
yes.
Sometimes that village might also give some stuff that is not very cool.
Exactly, exactly. And they bring it home to their parents, grandparents with different, who may have other health conditions that it shouldn't be exposed to diseases or infection. So that's sort of my take on it. So I always vaccinate my children no matter what.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I share the same view.
Yeah.
Any prevention that we can get, if it makes sense, let's get it. Unless there's a question mark. But again, who am I to judge the world? Let's hear from Earl, and then we go hear from Frank.
I am in complete support of vaccinations. For people that are less educated, I usually recommend that they just do their family genealogy, or if they're blessed to have older people in their family, or people from the other side, meaning back home in their ancestral home, ask some questions. I mean, I was raised by my grandparents. They lost siblings to influenza. They had aunts and uncles who were crippled from polio. They had parents who were debilitated by tuberculosis. I was blessed, though, to be raised by a generation that still had that in their memory. But you don't see those diseases anymore. And there's a reason. It's called vaccination. So I tell people, just, visit, hopefully you know a little bit about your family history. Visit the graves. You'll be surprised the amount of children that you never got, great uncles and great aunts that you never got to know, because maybe they died in the Spanish flu epidemic.
Wow.
So these things are real. I respect science, and unfortunately, there are two populations. There are people who do not vaccinate because for religious reasons, which is very complex. But I think the other problem is, so my kids went to a Montessori school where it was pretty expensive, and the parents were highly educated, and there were a small set of parents that sent their kids to private school, because if you go send your kids to public school, you're forced to be vaccinated. But in some of the private schools, they would allow. Now, I was on the board of my private school. We actually lost parents because we made it mandatory for children to be vaccinated. But there was a time where we were lax in that. But these were highly educated people, not in the medical field. They may have been brokers, they may have been writers or whatever, but they thought they knew more than the doctors. Amazing. I mean, look at what's his name, the founder, one of the founders of Apple, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Who died. I mean, he went with all this homeopathic stuff.
Yep.
He's as smart as he was, and he's not a doctor. I'll defer to Irvina. I'll defer to my medical doctor any day, because that's what they do. And I respect, their profession. And we need to, I don't know, something's changed in this culture where we don't value the opinions and the advice of experts anymore. We all think we're smarter, and it's very unfortunate.
Man, that's poignant. That is poignant. Those two examples defer to those who have taken the time all their life and studied it, and defer to learn a little bit about history and see your genealogy. That I cannot say anything more than that. But I want to end with Dr. Frank. What's your opinion on that? I know you straddle many lanes. You're a man of faith. You're a man of God. you also
Yeah,
study
that's
many
all
cultures.
right.
What is your take on this vaccination issue? Then we can leave it at that, and then it's settled, and then we'll come back next time. We're waiting. Can you hear me?
My internet is very, so let me see if I can give me a minute.
Okay.
Let me see.
We can hear you. You can wrap up there, and then
Uh,
we'll adjourn.
icon.
Okay,
Yeah.
looks like we're losing him. But okay, let's have one last word. If you had a young family that is struggling in raising their little
Hello,
ones. Yes, hello. Okay, you're back. You're back. So did you get a question or should I repeat the question?
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, Doc.
Okay, all right. Now, I just a quick observation. If you look at our first name initials, do you see that it's EFG? Hello,
Yep, yep.
did you notice that? EFG, yes. Oh, that's just
Okay, I did not notice
that's
that,
just
but
being
that's good.
said.
That's good.
Anyway,
That's good. That's cool.
um,
Yeah. I did not
yeah,
notice that. That's
I
cool.
agree with yeah, Ivana and then L, and even though I am a strong believer, okay, I have a strong faith, man, but I also believe in science,
Thank you,
and
sir.
so I believe in both of them. Like Elle was saying, sometimes too much study will make us forget common sense.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, today, hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm hearing you. We are hearing you. Common sense, they say, is not common. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, right. And then we forget that common sense is there because we think we know, and it's always almost pathetic to see that somebody who should know better is not doesn't know what he's supposed to know. So for my kids growing up, of course, when they are kids, vaccination is you don't miss it. You don't like
Mhm.
the needle going through, but you still go get it. Now as they grow, now they are teenagers, I can't force them, I can't drag them to the house.
Yeah.
I just remind them, you have to go. You have to go. Have you made an appointment? Because all of a sudden I can't make appointments for them anymore
Yeah.
because they are 18.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't make doctor's appointment. I do all of them for my wife and everybody in my house. I can make appointment for my girls, and they want to talk to them. They have to give them get permission from my girls for the whoever wants to talk to about their medical issues. So
Mhm.
I insist, and I can't force them, but I encourage them more and firmly,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they keep telling me you're annoying, and I keep going back. I said, go, have you done your this? Have you have your vaccination? Have you done your wellness thing? They call me annoying. I'm annoying, of course, but not doesn't mean that they are not hearing you. Yeah. So for me, when they were kids, you have to go get it.
My God.
The same reasons as others have said. And when they have grown now, I want them to have that be a responsibility. Of course, you're under my insurance. You don't pay for it. Go get it. You know.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when it comes to vaccination, I'm a firm believer of it. Even though my house, I have to talk to them into it. When the COVID thing came, my kids, especially my older one, just doesn't see why. Because she's getting from the media. Because she's getting from friends. Why she shouldn't go get it?
Mhm.
And I said, why can't you? So we had a conversation, and of course
Mm.
we were planning to travel too. So that she wouldn't do it. Frankly, she wouldn't do it. If it's not for the traveling, she wouldn't do it.
Mm.
Yeah, she wouldn't take the vaccine because
Yeah.
all the negativities about the COVID
Yeah.
vaccine that it came
Yeah.
around. She wouldn't do it if it's
Wow.
not for going traveling to Ghana. I would have once said no, I don't want it. So even
And
with
what?
last minute, I said you better either you take it or you're not going with us.
Mm.
And that
And then
she has
she
to
went
go
and
take
took it.
one shot, and they did a second one.
I
Yeah.
I
And
feel
after
that,
that, nah.
yeah.
For my house, when we get a first two, nobody has gotten any more, any other. Yeah.
Okay, Evina, go ahead.
Sorry, I just feel like there's so much information available now for anyone, even especially when your children are older, in the media and the internet, social media, and it is very hard to decipher what is the true information and what is
Yes.
not, or what's hearsay.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel that what we're working on with Anika right now, and I know she's still only
Mhm.
9 years old and she's not in the internet yet, is to really know how to decipher good information versus not so good
Yes.
information. We hope that will transfer over
Yeah.
to the vaccination in the future.
It is hard
Yeah.
work to get good information these days. It
Yes.
is a lot of hard work. So I'm leaving out a lot of other hot button issues like technology, relatives. I'm leaving out diet and all of that. I hope we can come to that some other time. But I really
Mhm.
feel compelled to say thank you so much because even though we had some tech issues here and there, the content in terms of information was still very, very invaluable. And I want to thank you so much because without you, I don't think I would have had such an enriching conversation today. So thank you so much. Is there a last word, just one or two words for someone whose kids may not be listening to them and they're scratching their head like, where did I go wrong? Is it because uh what did I miss? Is it did I not attend the right class at school or something? Just one or two words. Let's start with the most senior, the most experienced. Earl, Mr. Depas, please.
Well, I mean, I think that's pertinent what you said, because unfortunately, I mean, I don't know everybody's personal, but demographically, it's unfortunate that that everybody represented in this discussion is in the minority. And the fact that most kids are being raised in single parent homes. Most kids do not have parents that have attained the level of education as the people on this panel.
Mhm.
And I mean, hopefully we can inspire
Mhm.
those parents. But at the end of the day, I think we need more than inspiration. I think those of us, all four of us, who have the ability, we really need to lobby our governments and our local governments, because it's our local governments that set the education budgets and things. I mean, I think we need to advocate
Mhm.
for our fellow citizens, because I also think, I don't mean to get political, but it's also not an exception that every person here, or let me say the child of every person on this panel, the parent, they have at least one parent who's an immigrant.
Mhm.
I think this country
Mhm.
benefits greatly
Yes.
on the values that immigrants bring to this country, and often neglects the second, third, and fourth generation Americans, and we need to change that.
Mhm.
And we need, because it's getting to the point where
Yeah.
the best and the brightest are not always choosing to come to America anymore. They have other
Mhm.
options, and
Mhm.
this country needs to
Mhm.
invest on its neglected citizenry.
Mm. Wow, that's very deep. That's even deeper than I thought, but I'm certainly very grateful for that. Okay, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank, what's your take on that? Any last word?
Yeah, maybe maybe just yeah, just to add to what else said, what else just said. We may also sometimes we think our single parents are only for mothers. We also need to have single parents who are fathers.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
if we can come to bring some of that, I mean, in you know, to represent that group,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think that would be very helpful.
Yes, sir.
And then, like El said, we if we immigrants don't bring anything to the country, we bring culture.
Mm.
We bring culture,
Yes.
and we bring a very
Yes, sir.
important, vital, and rich culture to this country.
Mm.
And so, um, it is a pleasure to share some of these things that we have gone through and we are going through, and and to bring people together to talk about. Of course, parenting is it can go by the books, and every parent what work for parent A may not work for parent B.
Mm.
So um, it is good that we talk about and respect our own way of doing it and learn from each other because
Mm.
I'm learning. I'm learning from this panel. Even though I now have my kids, and I jokingly say I can't wait to kick them out and
Come back.
let them go.
You'll
But
come back, as you
I
said.
just want to say that I'm grateful.
Mm.
Yes, thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you so much. And we give the last word to the one and only mom on the channel, brave one. You've done it
But
all.
Yeah.
I really want to expand on the I do one thing I really appreciate about the immigrant population is their hard work. And I can see they work very hard. Their work ethic is immutable. And we can also bring that hard work uh, to our jobs, of course, but also to building
Mhm.
that relationship with our children. And I think building the communication and having an open communication with them, building that relationship takes a lot of hard work. And it's not necessarily quantity, not necessarily spending 8 hours with them. I mean, I can't spend 8 hours with my toddler. She's going to. But it's about the
Mhm.
quality that even
Uh,
if we have 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and since we're all busy, 10 and 15 minutes of quality time, it's worth is very valuable for them. And I feel that when they don't listen, just sitting down and really
Mhm.
taking some steps back, and to see where it all breaks or if there's anything we can do to support them, um, and really, or just even observing their behavior and see what's going on, I think is takes a lot of hard work and time. And I that when they don't listen, I think that's probably the best strategy. In my opinion, I don't always succeed, but
wow,
I
wow,
try.
wow. But I'm profoundly blessed and privileged to have had each one of you on this call today. Mr. Eldepas, I could not be more grateful. I know you are away from home for a very important reason, but you still made the time. Dr. Frank Amakona, thank you so much. I know you're juggling between work and even though internet also not very sound, you're here. Dr. Evina Hoff, thank you so much. You all, even before this panel took off,
Mhm.
you've been some of the people that I really look forward to, and I pray and thank God for meeting you, from learning from you. I want to give just one blast. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope we will adjourn here and come back
Get
another
in,
day.
get in,
Yes, sir. Yes.
get in.
Yes.
You're a graphic man. You're supposed to have a cow horn, not no fake plastic horn. Where's the cow
Okay.
horn? Huh? Come
Okay.
on. There you go. Yeah, there. That's what you do. There you go.
All right. This one, I know Evina has probably never heard this. Maybe Frank also, but next time when we come, I'll get it wet and ready to blast it off at the start and at the very end. Thank you so much. Have
Okay.
a blessed day, and
All right.
let's stop recording. And
I don't think
I,
I know about it. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
yes. So it will be for another day because I definitely recognize that you may have to rush back to work, and I don't want to hold you back anymore. So thank you so much. Recording has ended,
Thank you, guys.
and I'm blessed to have had each one of you. And collectively, my heart is filled with joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gideon. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
Yes.